In this video, I'll share my unboxing and long-term review of the Osmon V12 cordless vacuum cleaner. It's one of the cheapest vacuum cleaners available in India. Is it really value for money? Should you go for it? Is the suction enough for our day-to-day cleaning needs? We'll find out everything in this video. I've tested this with different materials and on different surfaces, how it performs, and I'll also share my post-sales experience with this brand. Is it good enough? Should you trust this? Let's do this.
It was packed in the retail box itself. There was no additional cardboard outside, and everything was well packed and secured with foam covering and plastic inside. Nothing was damaged during shipping, so I would say the shipping was pretty fine. It's one of the main accessories, the motorized floor brush. It has got a DC motor which spins the brush and cleans the floor. Addition to the suction, it's a second attachment. It's a corner crevice and corner nozzle, and this is a brush nozzle. It's mainly used for cobwebs and clear catching spiders. I think it's a wall mount, and some screws and wall plugs for the wall mount, and some paperwork. And this is the main vacuum cleaner unit. It's well secured in this foam covering. Let's take it out and see there is not even a single scratch, and it was well protected and handled during shipping. By default, it switches on in high power mode, and you can reduce the power by clicking this button. I can feel the suction really good compared to its size. All the electronics are in this housing, including the lithium-ion batteries, the high-power BLDC motor, and they've designed it really good and compact. Here we have the transparent dust cup. It mainly uses cyclonic separation method for primary filtration, and there is a HEPA filter for secondary filtration, and that's how we empty the dust cup. Here we plug in the power cord. And this is the extension pipe. It's built of aluminum, and the build quality is far better than other brands. It's solid and strong, and I felt it's good. And to connect it, you just have to insert it with its matching mounting here. That's how it's connected. To remove, you just have to press that silver button and pull it back. For testing, I am plugging the floor brush. It's rated at 10 watts. There is an LED illumination as well, and this is the power adapter. Before using it for the first time, I fully recharged it using its own adapter, and the charge level you can see using those indicator LEDs. Those three will glow up completely when the charging is done. But unfortunately, there was a manufacturing defect in its floor brush. The wheel, which was supposed to be concentric, wasn't spinning correctly. It was mounted eccentric. There was a shift between its axis and the mounting hole. So because of which the ground clearance wasn't maintained correctly, and that unfortunately caused scratches at the base. I think you can notice those scratches on the base plate. See these scratches. From sides it is clearly visible. The rolling motion of the wheel isn't smooth as it is supposed to be. It's turning and stopping and so on. When the charging cycle was done, I tested it on our floors. The handling felt pretty good. There was no resistance. The presence of LED light makes it much easier to see dust particles and dirt on the floor. The first one, the floor you're seeing, is a textured tile, and the handling has no issues. It glides really smooth and easy without much effort. And some dust it finds difficult to pick. I just boost the power and it sucks that too without much issue. And the performance was pretty good on concrete floors as well as red oxide floors. There was no issue in its gliding or smooth. Handling was pretty smooth. Next, I decided to test its brush nozzle accessory on various surfaces. First of all, I tested it on a wooden table surface which was covered with really fine dust and some dust mites. It did a pretty good job in cleaning. In my opinion, this cleaning of this table surface was satisfactory. And next I decided to test it on spider webs and tiny spiders, whether it is able to catch them, and you can see the performance. In my opinion, it isn't that great. For this purpose, it is not as powerful as a corded vacuum cleaner. The suction is not good for this purpose, I would say. But still, it's doing a pretty good job. We can't expect everything from a tiny vacuum cleaner. Still, it's catching. The performance is not that great, but still it managed to catch a lot of spiders and spider webs, and this is how the nozzle was totally clogged. The cleaning was a messy task. Then I checked its performance on upholstery using some powdered biscuit, and see, this is how it sucks. And you can see the cyclonic action in detail in the slow-mo clip. See, the heavier biscuit particles are spinning in an outer orbit, and the fine biscuit particles are at the center and finally getting pulled into the HEPA filter. If you want a detailed video on its functioning, I can post it next time on my channel. Next, I tested on carpet floor of the car. It does a decent job. There are a lot of dog hair on this carpet, but it's sucking them, but with a lot of difficulty. My corded vacuum cleaner would have done this much faster and efficiently. Still, it's doing the work, but not as fast as a corded one would do. It's better than using a normal brush and dustpan. This vacuum cleaner avoids the flying dust all around, and people with allergies would find a vacuum cleaner more reliable and useful. I was curious to learn further about its performance, so I did several analyses using some common household substances such as atta, wheat, dal, and such substances which are often spilled on the kitchen floor. The first I did with paper cuttings. It's the easiest thing any vacuum cleaner, even a toy vacuum cleaner, can do this, and it did really well. It sucked all the dust. And the second time I used atta, which is wheat flour, and it does a really good job in cleaning. And then I tried with some dog hair, and this time too the suction was really good. Before even the brush reaches the hair, it gets pulled in due to the vacuum force. Then I experimented with some onion peels, and it did a hassle-free good job. But practically looking, I felt the floor clearance is too less for sucking these bigger substances such as onion peels and wheat grains. You will notice it further maybe in the upcoming clips that this floor clearance would have been better. As the diameter of the substance increases, the particle size increases, they tend to get stuck in its front rather than getting pulled into. And in some cases, the wheel may get jammed because of the particle size. Next, I decided to test it on some dal. It has a much higher diameter than the previous substances. Now let's see how it performs. It's adequate for the cleaning. Then I tested with some rice particles, some rice grains, see how they are getting sucked into. And the performance is quite okay. Then after that I did a combination of rice and some other fine dust. See, a rice grain on the right side has stuck in between its small wheel. This will cause some problems in the future. I will share them in the upcoming video clip. This is a minor design flaw which they could have done better. Then finally I did a combination of all sort of dust and dirt and some food grains. Everything is included in this, and this is how it performs. This is one of the limitations I felt about this vacuum cleaner, the poor floor clearance, making it difficult to suck larger diameter pieces or dirt particles into the suction brush, and thus it is struggling to suck them. We have to lift it a bit to get those bigger particles sucked into, otherwise this is how it does. So that is one of the design flaw or maybe limitation you can say. Then I tested with some threads. They imitate the action of human hair, and some small threads are used, and this is how it gets wrapped around the floor brush. Cleaning can be a messy when it's too much. You have to pull this lock and take out the floor brush, and you can remove it. There is no need of using any sharp objects. You can just pull them out or cut it out with a scissor without damaging the brush bristles. For making the test more challenging, I tested it with some sawdust and wood fine dust, which usually clogs the HEPA filter, but it was just fine. Out of the box, the new floor brush looked just like this, but after 10 months of heavy and aggressive usage, this is how it became. It was heavily used on concrete floors, rough floors with all sort of dust. You can see one of the design flaws I mentioned earlier. One of the tiny wheels got stuck and it started rubbing against the floor instead of rolling. And that's how it worn out completely, and a lot of abrasion has happened. Talking about its pros, here are a few points I would like to make. It's the most affordable cordless vac. I got this for just 5,880 rupees from Amazon. The build quality is really good. The plastic feels premium. There are no molding defects visible. Good battery backup and life. It's been more than 10 months and still the battery backup hasn't changed a little bit. It easily lasts for 25 minutes and more on low power mode. And it has got easy maneuverability on all surfaces, concrete, tiles, wooden floors. It has got no trouble with that. And the LED light makes it really easier to clean in dark and during power cuts when there are no light, and on corners. And it has got easy dust removal. Just with the press of a button you can empty it anywhere safely. Two-stage filtration, that is cyclone and HEPA, ensures no fine dust escape back into the air, and thus the air quality index in our rooms remain in safe levels. And in my testings with an air purifier, I found no change at all in the ppm values when this vacuum cleaner was operated. And I would say it's really good where people are allergic to dust and asthma patients are there. We can definitely use this instead of a broomstick. Now coming to its cons, few points I'd like to mention here are the poor delivery experience. The delivery partner was Ecom Express and they refused the last mile delivery, stating a stormy weather, whereas the weather was absolutely clear that day. And eventually I went to the delivery station, which was about 11 kilometers away from my home, and picked it from there. And there are some minor design flaws such as the wheel getting stuck because of dirt and dust, which eventually wear it off completely. So that needs to be fixed maybe in the upcoming models. The next con I'd like to mention is the one-way shipping charge customer has to bear to get a replacement part even though it's a manufacturing defect. The dust cup has to be handled carefully as it is brittle. There was a moment when my mom accidentally dropped it and it just developed a huge crack, which thereby caused air leaks and the suction was reduced. The HEPA filter provided is non-washable, but still it has got no issues even though it's been 10 months plus and there is no reduction in suction power. The first power adapter which came inside the box had some overheating issue. I tested this with temperature probe and saw the temperature rise to be abnormal. It lasted just for a month and it stopped working. But upon contacting the brand, they provided a brand new charger free of cost, except I just had to pay one-way shipping charge. This was the replacement motorized floor brush the company had shipped against the manufacturing defect I reported in the beginning itself. And this time the accessory was in perfect condition, it had no problems at all, it worked just flawlessly. Unlike earlier, the wheels are in perfect shape and mounted in perfect condition. Lights are working and the floor brush, everything is just perfect. After 10 months of rigorous testing and heavy usage, I can conclude that the product is well built to meet all the challenges, and the performance was consistent throughout this period, and there are no issues with its suction force and the accessories. Everything is working fine, except that only the floor brush started wearing out because of grinding along with the concrete floor. This was the first American Micronic product I purchased, and my experience was really good. They show accountability for what they sell, and in case there are any manufacturing defects, they provide replacement parts. Only you will have to bear the one-way shipping. It's an Indian brand, and they sell a lot of home appliances and kitchen appliances such as air fryers, air purifiers, water heaters. Based on my user experience, I'll rate this product 4.8 out of 5. Have you ever used an American Micronic product? Let me know in the comments how was your experience, and do share your feedback and suggestions for improvements or any products you would like to see a review from me. Thanks for watching.